Hi, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Gammy's going gray. This is part 2 of our benzo discussion, and I'm just really sharing my own experience. I'm not going to give you anything other than my own experience, and some of it is science, some of it is fact. It's not just opinion. So where I left you was giving you my history and where I was at. And now I'm going to try to tell you about some of my crossovers. I have been on every single benzodiazepine throughout my crossover time. I have been on, as you already know, clonazepam. As you already know, I had tried the Xanax in the very beginning. I have been on lorazepam, and my crossover was diazepam, which is Valium. Lorazepam is Ativan. Aprelazam is Xanax, and Klonopin is clonazepam. Sorry, can't talk. So, with that being said, let me tell you about the equivalencies. Dr. Heather Ashton, I followed 2 different, and I've got some notes here, and I knew I said, I'm never going to read. I hate people reading to me, but here I am, going to read to you. So I apologize. But Dr. Pert, Reg Pert, he is no longer with us. He did a study on benzodiazepines and crossing over and being able to taper, and so did Professor Heather Ashton. So I followed both of them, and I did both of their schedules. Said it's on the back. Well, where is it on the back? There it is. So, I will share with you first the equivalencies. There's no perfect math to this, but let me first say clonazepam and Xanax are equal in strength, and I think I might have mentioned that before. So they also have approximately the same half-life. Incorrect. Sorry, back up. No, they have completely different half-lives. Same potency, different half-lives. Xanax, I think I might have mentioned 4 to 8 hours. They'll try to tell you 6 to 12. 4 to 8 is much more accurate. Don't believe the 6 to 12 unless you took it once in your life and never took it again. Then you might have gotten a longevity. But if you take it a couple times, you're going to find it's in your body really fast. That's why it's really good for panic attacks and, sudden anxiety. But it's not for long term. Okay. Whereas clonazepam has more of a 12 to 20 hours. They'll say that. I'm going to tell you it's more like 8 to 12 hours, 6 to 12 hours, somewhere in that time period. But they are equal in potency. Okay? So that's why a lot of doctors, if you're on Xanax, will change you over to clonazepam because you're not taking it as often. You're not popping the pill every 4 hours or less. Then the next strongest one, and there's many, I'm talking about the ones that are most commonly prescribed here in the U.S., is lorazepam Ativan. And that would be the next highest of potency. Clonazepam and Xanax are equal. Lorazepam second. Diazepam's the lowest. And with lorazepam, I would say it's kind of in the middle of Xanax and clonazepam. All right? For half-life. It's a little less stronger than Xanax, but a little longer acting. Some people love that. Okay. So if you are going to cross, and then there's diazepam. Diazepam, that baby has got the longest. Literature will say 20 to 100 hours of half-life. No. I would say 12 to 18 hours, somewhere around there. But again, it's everybody's personal preference and how fastly it clears from the body. With repeated dosing, accumulation does occur at high concentrations. okay? So high concentrations could be, well, I'm trying to remember now. I'm sorry, forgive me. See, this is why I'm reading, because I can't remember everything right off my head. You do accumulate this medication in your fatty tissue. I remember that. And I do remember that diazepam was the biggest one, that you could, stop diazepam and still find it in your liver months later, because if you were on high doses. So it depends on how quickly your liver processes these medications and rids them of them. But the long-lasting effects are pretty horrible. Today I'm going to talk about the crossover, and maybe next time I will tell about the wonderful effects, all the side effects that you can attribute to many other illnesses, and yet it's usually the benzo. So for me, I crossed over to Valium. I want to say I did it at least 2 times, if not 3 times. And each time I had some horrible thing happen, and I blew it and went back to square one. I told you, sudden death in the family, caregiving of my mother. I had another shock just happened to me. And the fact that I handled 2 days ago, I had shocking news. And the fact that I handled it so well, spent the whole day at a wild animal park yesterday with my grandkids, and like nothing had happened. There was no anxiety, there was no depression, there was no sleeplessness. It's like I'm a new person. I promise you, it's like I'm a new person. And I know that when I'm completely off the rest of the benzo, it's going to even be better. Life is just going to be better. I just know it. I'm counting on it. My life really should be in a book. People have said this over and over and over again. And as a matter of fact, we were having this discussion again the other day that there's family members that want me to write this, and they would be my ghostwriters, and they said, your story needs to be told. We need to start writing this down. We need to write this as a book. It will end up being a lifetime movie on TV. It's so incredible. My story is so incredible with my family. But that being said, and I think I might have mentioned little bits and pieces about my father and things of my past, but 2 days ago, my younger daughter, we're all on 23andMe because of my family and because of my husband's family. We have found, my husband found out about 2 siblings he never knew about. His mother went to her grave, and lo and behold, she had a son and a daughter that my husband never knew about. But through 23andMe, he did. And that's pretty hard to swallow. It's like, really, really. And so we're all on 23andMe because our family is so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and clearly nobody tells the truth, and we don't know what to believe and where we really came from. Anyway, my daughter tried to get a hold of me the other day and said, we believe that I have another sibling out there. Just to cut this to the point, I'm almost certain that I have another sibling. We just haven't found this person yet, and if they're even alive. But anyway, she thought she had found my sibling, and she said, because somebody reached out to her on 23andMe and said, I am your full cousin. And she was like, how can you be my cousin? Who's your parents? And so in the very first moments of them, and they start talking, had not been able to get a hold of me. My phone was not working for some reason, and she tried calling me. Everybody was, at this point, from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock, my family was losing their mind because my phone wasn't working, and they thought I had dropped off the side. Actually, I'd gone and worked in the office, and my kids did not know I was in the office working, and my phone wasn't working, and then I went shopping. Anyway, I don't know why I'm babbling and telling you all of my personal business. Anyways, so they had been talking, and they had pretty much decided that this young man, he's 25 years old and lives in Texas, he, being my nephew, and therefore he's my daughter's full cousin, his mother and I must be siblings, because her family history was weird and she didn't know her grandfather, and my father being who he is, we're thinking this is the lost sibling. This is the link. So when they finally got a hold of me, my daughters and I all got together at my older daughter's house, and we were going to do a phone call. He had asked, can my mother call your mother? Here's the phone numbers and everything. And I'm looking, and I pull up 23andMe, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? This could be my brother's kid, my oldest brother. This looks to me, and it only could have been my older brother's, because my younger brother lived a lifestyle that there's no way he could have, well, I shouldn't say that, but my older brother. And I'm like, this might be my older brother's kid. So sure enough, this woman calls me, and right off the bat asks me if I know, and she says my brother's name. And I said, yes, how do you know him? She goes, okay, I just had to test you. I know who you are. I know you know who he is. I know you're his sister. I just want to know if you'd admit it. I need to know if I can trust you, because he is my son's father, and he's never been told. My husband's never been told. No one in the world has ever been told. And my brother's dead now. So fast forward, last night we did a Zoom meeting with him. My daughter and I did a Zoom meeting with him. I got to meet him. I talked to his mother several times, so she could tell me a little bit about how this all happened and how she ended up being able to lead her husband into believing that it was his child. He never knew it wasn't his child. So that's kind of shocking news, and in my past that would have kind of spiraled me, but man, things are different. My mind is actually working now. I'm functioning. I don't have the pain in my body. I still have pain in my body, but it's not overwhelming. My skin doesn't burn. I used to have this burning skin. I had all these, oh my gosh, I had so many symptoms, so many things. And they're just being down. So, all right, we're at 13 minutes, and I'm going to try to keep this at 15 minutes. So I'm going to tell you how I crossed over. I went to, again, I think I had said that the most I ever took was 1 milligram of clonazepam. Well, whatever, if I was ever at 1 milligram, I cut it down to 0.75. So I was taking 0.25 3 times a day. So 0.75 milligrams of clonazepam, morning, afternoon, and evening, okay? And you do that. Then you trade off, and the equivalent, okay, so Dr. Pert and Professor Ashton they don't agree on the crossover equivalencies. So with Dr. Pert, he believed that 5 milligrams was equivalent to 0.25 milligrams of clonazepam, whereas Dr. Ashton believed 10 milligrams was equal to 0.25. Is that correct? No. Sorry. 10. 10 was equal to 5. So I guess they did agree. Oh, I'm sorry. Where they disagreed was the rapidicity. Is that a word? Rapidicity? How quickly you would do the weaning and the crossing over and all that. That was it. Pert crossed you over way quicker. That was it. Now it's coming back to me. See, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my brain, and remember I do have some brain damage from all this. So it was Pert crossed you over way quicker than Ashton. So their equivalencies were correct because and the same, because she says that 10 milligrams of Valium is equal to 5 milligrams of clonazepam. So if that's true, then 0.25 is equivalent to 5 milligrams of Valium. So I did Pert's crossover because I wanted to do it quicker. And so the first 3 days, I went to 0.25 in the morning, 0.25 in the afternoon, and then 0.125 of clonazepam and 2.5 of Valium. Now, remember in part 1 of this, I told you I went to my doctor and said, I need this, and I need this, and I need this. And she wrote out me the scripts, and I knew exactly how to break the pills and how to cut them. So I had everything all set. I had enough clonazepam, I had enough Valium, I was rolling. So you did that. So I did that for 3 days. 0.25 in the morning, 0.25 in the afternoon of clonazepam, and then 0.125 of clonazepam and 2.5 of Valium in the evening. You do that for 3 days. Then on my 4th day, I did 0.25 morning, 0.25 in the afternoon, and 5 milligrams of Valium. Do that for 3 days. Then on the 7th day, 0.125 of clonazepam / 2.5 of Valium in the morning, 0.25 K in the afternoon, and 5 milligrams of Valium. Are you seeing the routine? Do that for 3 days. Then it's 5 of Valium, 2.25 of clonazepam, and 5 in the evening for 3 days. And then for the next 3 days is 5 in the morning, half of clonazepam, half Valium in the afternoon, 5 in the evening, and then by the 16th day, you are 5, 5, and 5. And then you hold that, because now your body has to acclimate to a whole different drug. And you hold that for 4 weeks. And I did. And I did fine. I actually did very well with my crossover. Didn't have any ill effects. Some people really cannot handle it. I did very well, fortunately. And then you start tapering after the 4 weeks. And so at that point, I will come back on with part 3 and tell you about my tapering and how I tapered. And it was fun. And then I will probably have to come on part 4 and give you the list of all the stuff that these things affect. Every system in your body. Every system in your body it affects. And it can be very traumatic. And so if you're going through this process or thinking about going through the process, I'm here to say you can do it. I'm here. I'm a testimony. I didn't think I'd ever be. Now, am I off? No, I'm not off yet. I still have to taper off, and I'm going to go back to the crossover. I'm going to get off my 0.25 and go to the Valium, because Valium is so much easier to get off of. And so I will be crossing over to the Valium, and I will taper from the Valium. It's so much easier to taper off the Valium. And there's a lot of different ways of just literally cutting them, scraping them, shredding them, weighing them, dissolving them. There's lots of ways to do it. But when you've been on it as long as I have, and some of you have been on it way even longer than I, you have to be very careful. And you should be under a doctor's guidance. And again, if it's not an addiction specialist, then you really need to trust your own instincts and research. Dr. Heather Ashton, Benzo Buddies. I know they're kind of zealots there, and they'll tell you everything is benzos. And if you do have another underlying condition, they'll try to poo-poo that. But let me say to you from my own experience that what I did find is that, yes, I have other illnesses. Lyme disease, do I have Lyme disease? It's never been absolute in my mind, but yeah, doctors tell me I did. EBV, I definitely had EBV. That's, yeah. My titers for EBV were just, there's no questioning about the EBV. Fibromyalgia, I definitely have migraines, and migraines can give you a lot of different side effects. I definitely had H. pylori, I definitely had SIBO, I've had several different things, but during that time, I've been on a benzo. So you cannot say what is what. You just can't. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. And you know, I used to say, I'm too old, I don't care, I'm never going to get off the benzo because at my age I can't be bedridden for the rest of whatever life I have. And then I realized, well, but you do have some life left. And is that how you want to live? Not being involved, not being present, just standing on the sidelines and watching? Or is there something else you can do? And there is something else you can do. Get off the benzo. Get off the benzo. Start concentrating on the benzo. Honestly, I cannot believe how many bottles of supplements I have accumulated. And some of you make me look like a fledgling newcomer. Some of the stuff that you people have been taking, it's mind-boggling, the cost, the money that has been spent. And when I watch, some of you've got vlogs, and I watch your vlogs, and you never get better. I don't ever see any change. And when I say that, I mean you may have a good day, but it's nothing changes truly. Then the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and looking for a different outcome. Well, going and treating whatever, Lyme disease or whatever, over and over and over again, and nothing's changing, then try something else. That's what I did. I said, enough with the Lyme disease. I'm going to start concentrating back on these mind-altering drugs that can cause physical physical ailments. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm way over 15 minutes. I'm so sorry. I'm going into the office tomorrow. Woo, I'm working a lot now. I'm blessed. I'm so thrilled with what God has given me. I praise Him. I look at the world around me, and it's so dismal. So you have to find joy in what you have, and I pray that you can do that. I pray you can find some joy in what you have. Okay, so I'll come back on with part 3. Okay? God bless. Take care.